Hello Royals, welcome back. Time for part 10. Don't forget to subscribe and check the bell on the way in. Head on over to Shay B's profile on TikTok and make sure that you follow her as well. That way you can follow along, and when you come over here we can do a good old review of the show and give our input so we can get a good old reaction video going. So let's get started and jump into part 10. It's getting good. You ready? I am. Let's do a bedtime recap. So let's go. Whoosh.
Welcome to part 10 of my experience as a CO. So I believe we got kicked out like a day after I turned 21. So at this point, I'm 21 years old. I'm homeless, and the only thing I got is my car. Now I can go home, but after being kicked out, I kind of felt like it was my fault that we both got kicked out, because he wasn't to the point yet to where he could work. So I started feeling guilty because I felt like I was the person that was supposed to pick up the slack for both of us. Because let's be real, I don't feel like no mother is going to kick her son out. I feel like I got kicked out and he came with me.
He's also the one that brought you out there in a non-foundational way and in an appropriate way. He could have started working the next day after he got out. Hell, he could have made YouTube videos about his path into going into jail. I really don't care what you do, but it's never a reason why a man cannot make money. A person cannot make money, or at least try. We definitely know smoking wasn't the reason, and he didn't get kicked out because of you. He got kicked out because of him and his mother wanted to use you. The mother was a whole setup to begin with anyway, but anyway, mental health, they don't have none.
So the reason why I didn't leave him and just go back home was because I felt like
you wanted to still play house.
I was the reason. I was the blame for us getting kicked out.
Nope.
So we didn't have
just
nowhere
young
to go.
And in love.
We packed up whatever we could and we just left. We didn't have no money for a hotel room. We didn't have no money. We barely had enough money to eat. And the only thought in the back of my head was to just tell him I'm going to go home. And you can bargain with your mom and about letting you come back and stay at the end of the day. But if we being real, I'm the problem here because she doesn't feel like I'm coming off enough money to live there. She could have came to me as an adult, as a grown woman, and she could have said, you know what, I can't let you live here for free. You know, she could have sat me down and had a genuine talk with me and said, I'm going to have to let you go back home.
Or you could have also protected yourself and made sure that you were aware of the stipulations before you went. As mature adults, when we're making mature adult decisions or adult decisions, we have to handle it as an adult. So that conversation while the mother was blowing up your phone, would have been my perfect opportunity to ask her, okay, so if I'm coming to live there, what are your expectations? How do you run your home? What is it that you need from me? That way I can ensure that I can live up to what your expectations are, because you don't know what they were and you're going into another queen's household. So that conversation could have also been had by you, especially if you were feeling inadequate or out of place, because that does impact your mental health. And look at what happened. And it could happen to any of us, and I'm pretty sure that it has in some capacity or another. You begin to feel guilty. You feel like it's your fault. You feel like all of these things because the things around you are not going the way that they should. But in order to quickly address those things so that they don't manifest and turn into unhealthy things that we don't want them to turn into, that's why conversations are really important. And those difficult conversations generally have the most value within them for yourself, ensuring that you're okay. That's really important. If it's a tough question to ask, that's probably the one to ask. And guess what? At least asking the question provides you with the answer, closure, and you to be able to have the ability to know. Most women say we don't like to be left in the dark or have our choices taken away from us, right? But then as well, when it's time to do what's needed to get to those answers, and so that we are able to make choices, we sometimes also don't want those answers, and we'd rather keep going on the path of unknown. That way we can validate, and some form of us can be the victim versus a part of the problem. We typically have a hand in it as well if we didn't follow the steps that we needed to follow. So that's a lesson learned, especially when you're going into somebody else's household and or space. Carry on.
Instead, it was chaos. She had an attitude about it, and she kicked me out. So we only had enough money to literally get like 2 McDoubles, one for him, one for me. So like we would kind of just like sit around at a park or something until like dark came. I think we was like sleeping in my car for about 2 or 3 days. I remember like when it became nighttime, how now this is how I knew something was mentally wrong with him. Y'all, this man drove my car, my Kia. Okay, I don't drive a truck. I drove a car at that point. He drove my car into the woods. Y'all, I'm like looking at him all the time. He said, like, what are you doing? Y'all, this man's running over plants, trees. He driving my car like it's a fucking
Jurassic Park.
one of them big ass heavy duty trucks. Like,
because he don't care about your car. He tearing your shit up.
We running over. We on hills and shit. We running over grass. We running over sticks and stuff. I'm just like, oh my God, he gonna fuck up my car. Like, yep. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, this should have been on a commercial for a car. I'm telling you, everybody would have wanted one of those kids. I'm telling you. So, and it's dark at that, y'all. It's dark at that. Okay, so after that, you know, we make it to like deep in the woods where we ducked off from everything. I'm so scared. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. What if an animal come out? Like, you know, what if I got to use the restroom? Girl, lo and behold, I had to use the restroom. Y'all, I had this shit, and if y'all know, y'all know. Have y'all ever had this shit so bad to the point of where you clenching your cheeks, like you can't hold it?
Yeah.
Y'all, I had to hold that boo-boo in because my pride would not let me shit outside.
And that's when I went home. Not only that,
but I was so scared to shit outside. And then I know a lot of people probably like, girl, you only was homeless for like 2-3 days.
Only?
In your car. Like,
I don't want to be homeless for 5 minutes.
Deal.
Yes,
but
it is.
y'all have to understand my background and where I come from. Right. I don't come from shit like that. Right. I don't come from struggle. Right. I damn near was raised with a silver fucking spoon in my mouth. I was spoiled. Like, anything I asked for, I got. My mama always had nice things. Like, I was one of those kids that didn't want for much. So going through this was so new to me. It was so new for me.
And voluntary.
So I was telling him, like, you know, I got a boo-boo. He was like, it's a towel in the back. Like, go take the towel, go behind the car, and boo-boo. Like, wipe yourself. I was like, are you serious right now? Like I'm just...
Not like, out driving
at that point,
somewhere?
I was just like, I have no words to explain how the fuck I feel at that moment. Like, to myself, I was just thinking, like, I want to go home. But I never said it because I knew there would have been a problem, and I knew that he would have tried.
Quick question. As a woman, mother, matriarch, why didn't you call her mother before you put her out? Because you had that conversation. Oh, she good. Oh, no this. Oh, no that. So you had the mother's number. I just thought about that. Why didn't you call the mother and say, you know, this isn't working out. Perhaps they should do it a little bit different. You know, I think it's time for her to come home or something like that. I would be livid if I was her mother replaying this, knowing, like, so many things just come to your mind. I can't imagine how her mom feels listening to this story and knowing that these things happen, because it's one of those things where you like, just call me about my child. I'll come get my child. I know that I've done it as a TT. Y'all know I'm very actively involved in my niece and nephew's life. Baby, I won't let them eat a Happy Meal if they really want a taco. So you mean to tell me you put my child out and you didn't have the good decency to call me as woman to woman, mother to mother, and let me know? And you know my child just turned 21. My child is a child. Your child done tore up my damn car. You done received the money that I done sent there. And all these other things. Hell, if you wanted more money, you could have called the other mother and said, you know, I'm going to need help with these things. And come to think of it, the mom had a boyfriend as well. No offense to nobody, but this is how I was raised, right? If you want to still take care of your child, then take care of your child. But for me, If I already pay the bills that I pay, when Sky turned 18, I continue to pay the insurance on the car that I gave him. Sky just turned 21. I continue to pay his insurance, his life insurance. I would like to pay for the things for his car, but he goes and gets it done because he works and he's being mature on his own. I don't understand how you didn't take care of this child and a girl and far away from home. The at the top of the list should have been at least to talk to the mom, because you knew that the mom had resources based on you already sizing this girl up and feeling like those benefits would come into your home. But when you saw your son doing different things and she's not capable of keeping a job because of whatever was going on in that household on a daily basis, why didn't you pull your son to the side and check him like, hey, little nigga, you not doing what you need to be doing. This girl is doing what she need to be doing. Support her, do what you need to do for her, and you need to be developing your next plan. When did you hold your son accountable either? Girl,
Stop me. Y'all, I held my boo-boo, my pee, everything all night. I was so miserable. So the next day, like for part 11.
Yeah, I just gave my recap about how I felt. I'm telling you, I'm going back over with you guys. You hear it different the second time. If the first time you're like, whoa. Then when you hear something back again, you're like, wait. So, I can't imagine how much this was breaking that girl down. And the fact that he didn't even say. Now let's talk about what a man should do. As a man, as somebody that was older, why didn't you ever tell her, babe, why don't you go back home? We gonna do this the right way. Really, it's really no right way to shack up, but there are right ways to treat people, because we all sinners and we ain't perfect. So at the very height of things for you, sir, why didn't you direct her to go back home and then apply for jobs? If you notice they chilling all day, all of this stuff, but you didn't immediately start paying for jobs or looking for resources, general relief. That's what it's called here in California. Like nothing to provide you with resources. Your parole officer, there are jobs that you can do straight out of jail sometimes. Is it always easy? No, it's not always easy, but it's a lot easier these days than it was those days. Hell, you could have been doing Uber. You had a car right there. You could have been doing Uber while she was at work, picking up, you know what I'm saying? You know, you could have been doing something, but you didn't care. What kind of provider is that? That's what provision is for a woman. It's not just money. You literally provided no provision, umbrella, protection, safety, care. This is what complete selfishness looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to make better decisions, because this was 10 years ago. So we can talk about it now. And again, I have her permission. This is how I feel, and this is what I would tell my younger self in decisions and how to make them differently and why it's important. But it's also about holding the people around you in your village accountable as well. And that mother has a lot of accountability to me, because you're stepping in and you allowing him to do these things. You still cubbing him or whatever, which really is a using factor, but I digress. We'll get to that later. Let's go on to part 11. Subscribe, check the bell, share, all that good stuff. Drop in the comments how you feel. Y'all don't really comment unless I'm live, but I can't go live all the time, y'all. You gotta comment and then I'll respond. I promise I'll respond eventually. So, thank you very much. See you later, Royals. Let's head to part 11.